She cheated, got served at work, then showed up screaming on my porch, big mistake. Hi, I'm Alan, 36. And the day my wife told me, deal with it. I did with a prenup her own father made me sign. The first 4 years of our marriage were solid. Blair and I weren't some Hollywood couple or Instagram perfect duo, but we had rhythm. I'd come home from the plant, face still marked from the welding mask, and she'd be there with takeout or some botched attempt at Pinterest lasagna. We laughed a lot, shared Spotify playlists, had a joint account, both literally and emotionally. I weld stainless steel pipe for a living. 11 years in the same union shop. I'm the guy they call when someone nearly blows themselves up with the acetylene tanks. It's not glamorous, but it pays well and keeps the lights on. Blair worked in a totally different world, corporate recruiting. Office towers and catered lunches, Friday happy hours, rooftop mixers. It was never a problem. Not until it became the only thing she cared about. IT started small. Networking dinners, then weekend conferences, then team building retreats that sounded more like excuses to drink overpriced cocktails in hotel bars. I told myself she was just chasing her career. I even picked up extra shifts to help with renovations, like the backsplash in the kitchen she picked out and never lifted a tile for. Then came Tatiana. Tatiana worked at Blair's firm. 3 divorces, a white wine love, and more opinions than sense. She'd FaceTime Blair for hours while I was in the garage trying to finish a welding job for side cash. I could hear them through the open window. He doesn't match your ambition. You make more than him. Blue-collar guys don't think big. Every time Blair hung out with her, she'd come back a little colder. One night, I asked her to sit with me and watch the game just like we used to. She looked at me like I asked her to scrub floors with a toothbrush. The day she told me, flat out, I'm done being a wife. Deal with it. She was holding her phone in one hand, texting someone I couldn't see, and stirring her almond milk latte with the other. She didn't even make eye contact. I'm not sleeping with you anymore, she said. This isn't working, and I don't care what you do about it. She thought I'd grovel, thought I'd beg, but I didn't. I called my buddy Dante that night, packed a bag, left a note. You wanted space? Here it is. Don't contact me unless necessary. And I meant it. Dante's spare room smelled like old baseball caps and barbecue charcoal, but it was a palace compared to the emotional freezer I'd just left. I slept like a rock for the first time in months. No AM giggling through phone calls. No cold shoulder brushing past me in the hallway. Just silence. Peace. Monday morning, I did what any sane man should have done 6 months earlier. I called a divorce attorney. Carter's office was tucked into this brick building off 4th Street, sandwiched between a vape shop and a taco joint. Dante came with me. Didn't say much. Just sat there like a bouncer in case emotions ran high. I laid out everything. The distance, the roommate setup, the cold detachment, the late nights, Tatiana's brainwashing sessions. Carter listened, took notes, asked one question. Did you sign a prenup? I nodded. Yeah, her dad insisted. It's in here somewhere. I handed over the manila folder I'd stuffed into my duffel. Carter flipped through, eyes scanning, eyebrows twitching. Then he smiled, the quiet lawyer smile that usually means someone just screwed up in writing. Alan, he said, this prenup has an infidelity clause that stopped me. Meaning? If either party cheats proven and documented, they walk away with nothing. No claim to joint assets. No spousal support. I sat back, connecting dots like I just solved a murder. All those nights, the cancelled trips, the sudden makeup, the placement calls at and the shift after Tatiana. There had to be proof. Then I remembered the tablet, old thing. Been dead in the kitchen drawer for years. But if it was still synced to our shared cloud from back when we used it for recipes, there was a chance everything was still mirrored. Messages, photos, calendar events. Carter gave me a look. Don't do anything illegal. Not planning to, I said. But if it's on a shared device, synced to a shared account, sitting in a house with my name on the mortgage, that's not illegal. I waited for the perfect moment. Blair had a 4-day conference in Atlanta. She left Wednesday afternoon. That night, I let myself into the house. It felt weird, quiet, like walking through a memory that had already died. I found the tablet, plugged it in, waited. 30 minutes later, 312 messages synced to the chat app, and there it was. A contact saved as Ike, first message dated 7 months ago. Great meeting today. Can't wait to debrief later. I kept scrolling. It got worse. The chat thread with R was like watching a documentary about my own humiliation in real time, with timestamps. Flirty messages morphed into explicit ones. hotel reservations, restaurant selfies, inside jokes I'd never heard before, complaints about me. He's basically a roommate at this point. He's so checked out. I deserve better. Phoenix will be our little escape. Phoenix. The mandatory recruiting conference she'd blown off our anniversary trip for. There were photos too. Her and Raphael, yeah. That Raphael. The suit-clad, overconfident, startup type she always brought up in conversations like he was some recruiting messiah. They were sipping drinks in a rooftop lounge, sprawled on a hotel bed, even one in our guest room. I just sat there, on the cold kitchen tile, my hands buzzing, screenshotting everything. Every message, every image, every hotel charge she'd run through our joint account. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This wasn't a work trip gone too far. It was betrayal. Carefully coordinated, funded with our shared money, hidden in plain sight. I forwarded the evidence to Carter that night. It was over 200 pages of screenshots, receipts, and calendar events. He replied at sharp. This is airtight. Combined with the prenup, she walks away with nothing. You ready to file? Hell yes. I texted back. Blair flew back Friday. Sent me a casual text like nothing had happened. Can you stop by Sunday morning? I need help with the utility bills. Sure. I'd help her, just not the way she expected. Sunday morning, I showed up. She greeted me like I was a tech support guy. Sat me at the kitchen table. Then she launched into a pitch, I swear to God, like she was restructuring a startup. I've been thinking, let's reframe the marriage. No expectations, no intimacy, just housemates. It's modern, progressive, clean. I nodded, calm as ever. Sounds workable. I'll need to sort out a few logistics. She looked pleased. Thought I'd rolled over again. She had no idea Carter was filing the divorce papers the next morning with the full prenup and 200 pages of proof attached. But that wasn't the best part. The best part. Carter served her the papers at her office, mid-Tuesday, in front of her entire team and 2 senior partners. Apparently, she turned ghost white. She called me 23 times that day. I answered none. By the time voicemail number 19 came in, Blair crying and half yelling that I'd ruined her reputation, I was sitting on Dante's couch, eating cold pizza, watching Shark Tank. Fitting, considering the predator she'd been that evening. She showed up. Dante cracked the door open. Didn't even flinch. He's here, but don't expect an apology. She stormed past him like a hurricane in heels, red-eyed, mascara trailing, clutching her designer bag like a shield. You served me at work, Alan. In front of my whole team. Are you out of your mind? I didn't flinch. Just held up the tablet, opened the chat with Raphael, and started scrolling. Slowly. No words. Just her own cheating. Her own messages. Her own photos, one after the other like a human PowerPoint of self-destruction. She froze. Her face crumbled. Anger, denial, panic, it all flickered behind her eyes. You went through my messages. That's illegal. That's a violation. Shared tablet. Shared cloud. Shared house, I said, keeping my voice flat. Want the exact statute? My lawyer printed it out. Then came the tears. It didn't mean anything. I was confused. It's over with him. We can fix this. When did it end? I asked. She hesitated. Exactly, I said. It ended 5 seconds ago when you realized you might lose everything. She lunged for the tablet, and he stepped between us like a bouncer. Nope, that's when the door flew open again. Enter Tatiana. Like the final boss of Bad Decisions, she barreled in instantly in attack mode. You're really going to blow up your marriage because she made one mistake? Men cheat all the time. Women are just expected to forgive. But you can't handle her having agency. Dante chuckled. Tatiana, you've been divorced 3 times, all for cheating. Sit down. I turned to her. You told Blair she deserved better than me. That I was a placeholder. Now you're mad she's facing consequences you avoided with NDAs and joint checking accounts. Tatiana's face turned crimson. Her jaw worked like it wanted to fight gravity. I was supporting her growth. You were projecting your own wreckage. They both started shouting, Blair crying, Tatiana spewing pseudo-feminist nonsense. Dante held the line. I just stood up, walked out the front door, and drove around the city until midnight with the windows down. By the time I got back, they were gone. Fiona called the next morning. Heard you had your ex-wife served at her office. Alan, I'm so proud I could cry. Want me to key her car? No, F.I. Not yet, I said. Patience then. Best revenge is cold. And documented. She wasn't wrong. Monday morning. Carter filed everything. Divorce petition. Prenup with the infidelity clause highlighted like a fire exit plan. 200+ pages of screenshots. Hotel receipts. Chat logs. calendar entries, the works. It was a case file so tight, it practically served itself. Blair's lawyer contacted Carter within hours, clearly panicking. Their first move: challenge the tablet evidence. Carter just sipped his coffee and dropped the bomb. Notarized documents proving Blair and I had set up that shared cloud account together 4 years ago. Emails, timestamps, login records, even receipts from when we bought the tablet. Airtight. Then they tried to invalidate the prenup, said Blair signed under duress, that her father pressured me into signing without legal advice. Carter smiled like a shark spotting blood. He submitted an email from me confirming I reviewed the prenup with legal counsel timestamped, a notarized copy of the signing 3 witness statements, a statement from Blair's own father confirming he insisted on legal fairness for both parties. It wasn't a prenup. It was a fortress, and the infidelity clause, that was the nuclear core. Blair had no claim to the house, no savings, no spousal support, nothing except what she brought into the marriage, which amounted to a retirement account worth about $14,000. And the least study I was pretty sure she couldn't afford without help. Her lawyer blinked first. Settlement is her only option, Carter told me. Litigating will drain her twice as fast. Meanwhile, Blair tried every last-ditch tactic in the manipulation playbook. Text shifted from apologetic to furious to victim mode. You moved on too fast. You're being cruel. You're embarrassing me on purpose. I didn't reply. I just forwarded every message to Carter. Paper trail, documentation, and then of course Tatiana had to crawl out from the wreckage one more time. Sent me this manifesto of a message about how I was weaponizing money and punishing a woman for wanting independence. Harper read it over my shoulder and laughed. Mind if I reply? Be my guest. She typed. Tatiana, not everything is about your disaster era. Alan and I connected because your little empowerment project blew up in both our faces. The difference is we're healing. You're projecting. Again. Then she blocked her. A week later, we had the settlement hearing, 30 minutes. Judge asked the basics. Blair sat across from me looking like a faded version of who she used to be. Oversized blouse, chipped nails, no eye contact. She signed the agreement without a word. The house? Mine. Savings? Mine. Support? Zero. Her take? Whatever she could carry. 8 years. Gone in the sound of a gavel. Outside the courthouse, Harper waited with 2 coffees and her camera bag slung over one shoulder. How'd it go? She asked. I smiled. Clean sweep. She handed me a cup. Then let's go celebrate your freedom. You want pancakes or burgers? I didn't even hesitate. Both. Freedom tastes a lot like black coffee and buttermilk pancakes with extra syrup. 2 months after the divorce was finalized, I bought a modest 2-bedroom house near the plant. Nothing fancy, just a place I could call mine, with a garage I could actually use without stepping over Blair's decorative crates labeled things like autumn vibes and holiday glam. I spent weekends welding custom furniture pieces, side tables, fire pits, even a wine rack Harper jokingly dubbed industrial chic. She started keeping a toothbrush in the bathroom, then a drawer in the dresser. One day, without fanfare, she just didn't leave. It was easy, calm, real. Meanwhile, Blair was unraveling Fiona's intelligence network. A combination of petty mutuals and her unstoppable group chat kept me updated. Apparently, after Raphael ghosted her the moment he inked right on the divorce, Tatiana stopped answering her calls to female empowerment, but only until it required effort or rent money. Blair moved into a 1-bedroom across town, the same neighborhood she once called for people who gave up. Now she was among them. Her Instagram changed overnight. Gone were the curated rooftop selfies and brunch boomerangs. In their place, moody quotes about growth, blurry sunsets, captions like healing isn't linear. Translation: I set my life on fire, and now I'm cold. Then came the Saturday meltdown. Harper was at my place making breakfast, hair in a messy bun, wearing one of my flannel work shirts that swallowed her whole. She'd just flipped the eggs when someone started pounding on the front door like they had a warrant. I came around from the garage just in time to hear her open it. Spatula in hand. It was Blair. She looked rough, hair wild, hoodie zipped over what might have been pajamas, eyes rimmed in red. Then she saw me and lost it. Are you serious? She screamed. You're with her? In our house? Making breakfast together like none of this happened? Harper didn't flinch. Hi, Blair. We met once, remember? Raphael introduced me as his colleague. Blair's face went from hurt to hateful. This is disgusting. You're disgusting. You're just doing this to hurt me. I stepped forward, calm, collected. No, Blair. I'm doing this because I moved on. You told me to deal with it. So I did. But Blair wasn't there for logic. She was there for chaos. She started screaming about betrayal, about being humiliated at work, about how I had ruined her life, and then she shoved Harper. Harper didn't blink. Just caught Blair's wrist mid-shove like she was taking out the trash, Tote Harper said, voice like steel. Blair tried to swing again. Big mistake. Harper blocked her clean, swept her legs, and dropped her flat on her back like a sack of potatoes. The porch shook. You want to press your luck? Harper asked, standing over her. Or you want to walk away with what's left of your dignity and eggs that aren't cold yet? I swear I heard applause from a neighbor across the street. Blair lay there stunned, sprawled across the porch like someone had unplugged her rage mid-sentence. Mascara streaked, lip trembling, hair in total disarray. She looked up at Harper, whose only expression was mild irritation, like she was annoyed that Blair was delaying breakfast. Harper stepped back, giving her space. Get up, she said, and get off this property before I call the cops and file charges for assault and trespassing. Blair scrambled to her feet, stumbling backward, still trying to bark threats through laboured breathing. You can't do this to me, Alan. She attacked me. I could sue her. You laid hands on her first, I said. We've got 3 different Ring cameras plus at least 2 neighbors who are recording. You're lucky she didn't break your wrist. Blair's eyes flicked around, realizing the porch showdown wasn't just witnessed, it was documented. She looked like she'd swallowed a thumbtack. She turned to me one last time, hoping for backup. One last lifeline. This is your fault, Alan. You ruined my life. You destroyed our marriage. And now you're standing there letting your new little girlfriend assault me in front of your house like I'm nothing. I didn't even blink. You are nothing to me now. She opened her mouth for one more meltdown, but Harper cut her off with a simple, brutal line. Your car is parked halfway on the lawn. If you peel out fast enough, you might still have some dignity in the tank. Blair staggered back, huffing, then turned and practically sprinted to her car, slammed the door, reversed of my grass, and screeched down the block so hard she left tire marks across my driveway. Harper watched her go, then looked at me. Sorry about that. I didn't want to make a scene in your neighborhood. That was the least sorry apology I've ever heard, I said. Grinning, she shrugged. I'm not that sorry. You want hot eggs or cold justice? Why not both? About an hour later, Fiona called. Alan, she said, no hello. I just watched a porch-side UFC match between your girlfriend and your ex-wife that someone filmed and dropped in a group chat. Harper flipped her like she was a folding chair. You're in a group chat that shares footage of my driveway. I'm in 8 of them, Fiona said proudly. One's called Justice for Alan. We're getting shirts printed. Please don't. Too late. Also, tell Harper she's invited to Thanksgiving, Christmas, my birthday, and every petty celebration from now until the end of time. Later that day, I got one final text from Blair. Just wanted you to know I'm pressing charges against your girlfriend for assault. My lawyer says I have a solid case. Hope you're ready to defend this in court. I screenshotted it and forwarded it to Carter 10 minutes later. He replied, tell her to go ahead. We've already secured 3 videos from neighbors showing her initiating contact twice. Harper's actions were textbook self-defense. If she files, we counter-sue for harassment, trespassing, and assault. She'll lose badly. Copy this message and send it to her word for word. So I did. Blair never replied, never filed, never showed up again. 3 months passed. The dust settled. Harper and I were still together, slow and steady. She'd built a little photography corner in my spare room, soft lights, backdrops, props for product shoots. I turned the garage into a hybrid workshop where I built furniture and customized metal pieces for boutique shops. We weren't rushing anything. No pressure, no expectations. Just 2 people who'd been burned by the same match. Building something that didn't require smoke or fire to feel real. Even Fiona, who trusted no one, gave Harper her full endorsement. She's low drama, funny, keeps receipts, and can throw hands, she told me. Marry her or I will. Noted, I said. Meanwhile, Blair's situation got worse. According to one of Fiona's less ethical sources, Blair blew through her savings in 6 months trying to maintain the lifestyle she'd curated onto incomes. Turns out, inspirational Instagram captions don't pay rent. She moved back in with her parents. Her new job didn't last. Raphael ghosted her the minute the divorce was finalized. Tatiana vanished the second consequences got real. Apparently, she's already working on divorce hashtag for Dot and Blair. Last I saw, she posted a black and white selfie with the caption, sometimes, Losing everything is how you finally find yourself. Translation. I made my bed. But I can't afford sheets anymore. Life now. It's calm. And for the first time in years, mine Saturdays start with Harper making coffee while I sand down furniture in the garage. She hums when she edits photos. This quiet little tune that gets stuck in my head more than I'd admit. We eat breakfast on a table I built from scratch. Legs welded from reclaimed pipe. Top sealed with dark oak she picked out herself. It's imperfect. A little wobbly. And absolutely ours. We booked a trip to Colorado this fall. Nothing fancy, just the two of us. A rental cabin, some hiking boots, and her camera gear. She wants to shoot the aspen trees when they turn gold. I just want to sit on a porch that doesn't echo with resentment. The best part. There's no eggshells underfoot. No fake smiles. No hidden phones under pillows. Just laughter. Silence. Comfort, and a kind of peace I forgot existed. As for Blair. That final chapter closed quietly. Fiona, bless her information spiderweb, sent me a blurry photo a few weeks ago of Blair in sweatpants at a grocery store in her hometown, staring at an assistant manager wanted sign. No ring, no car keys in sight, just her and a shopping cart full of store-brand cereal. Tatiana wasn't in the background this time. No luxury brunch, no rooftop selfies, just silence. The silence you earn when everyone walks away after the performance ends. And Raphael, Harper says he tried to reconnect. Of course he did, but she didn't even bother responding. Just blocked him with the same energy you'd swat an at. She's not one to recycle trash. Sometimes I think about the night Blair told me, flat out, I'm done being a wife. Deal with it. At the time, I thought I was losing everything. Now I know better. She thought I'd crumble, that I'd keep paying the mortgage, fixing her sink, and watching her walk out the door to meet someone else while I sat at home waiting for a ghost. But I dealt with it. I left. I built. And when the dust settled, I wasn't the man broken on the floor. I was the one standing in the sunlight, next to someone who saw value in me without a paycheck or a prenup. Someone who didn't just stay, she showed up fully, fearlessly. Blair burned the bridge, but I built a new one, stronger, welded from scratch. Turns out, you don't need to fight for someone who already decided to leave, especially when leaving was the best damn thing that ever happened to you. And that, my friends, is how you deal with it.